Here I am in the Zeteo studio, trying to get things working. I'm with you now. We lost Daniel, Moody, and Wajad Ali. I'm so sorry. Brilliant guests. They waited patiently. You've waited patiently. There's hundreds of you back, thousands, hopefully soon thousands. There were thousands before. I feel like Donald Trump counting my rally size. What a night it was. I do, as I said, I feel like Elon Musk a loser, Donald Trump a loser. Let's talk about Donald Trump, the loser, tonight. Let's talk about this debate that we all just watched. Did you all watch the debate? What was it? Oh, well over an hour and a half. What did we learn tonight? And I want to run through what we learned tonight. We learned tonight, according to Donald J. Trump, the man who wants to be the next president of the United States, Democrats are executing babies after they are born. Immigrants are eating cats and dogs. During the pandemic, America saved the world by sending ventilators to all the other people who were dying from COVID. And the leader of the Taliban is a man named Abdul. These are some of the things we learned tonight from Donald John Trump, former president, possibly next president of the United States. Before we lost Wajat and Danielle, Wajat was telling me about how in any normal country, any normal planet, Donald Trump lost that debate by a mile. But I suspect we'll see kind of the polls tighten a little bit. They're pretty even. Millions of Americans will say, no, Trump won, even though in their hearts they know he didn't. It was a very weird performance. If Joe Biden had to step aside after the debate in June, where he couldn't remember things, where he couldn't finish sentences, then what happens tonight? Are we going to get a New York Times editorial tomorrow saying Donald Trump needs to stand aside? Are we going to have a meltdown in the GOP like there was in the Democratic Party because Donald Trump confused Virginia and West Virginia multiple times while talking about abortion? Because Donald Trump, when he was asked about a healthcare plan, couldn't actually talk about the specifics of his plan, right? He just has bits of a plan. This is a guy who couldn't come up with any coherent response to anything. And I'm just going to run through tonight. It's just me chatting to you all. I'm reading some of your comments. Good evening from Canada. Thank you, Yusuf Niaz from Canada. Shadowboxer says Abdul for kingship. Yeah, Abdul. He doesn't exist, by the way. The leader of the Taliban is not a man named Abdul. Right, it's a man named Mullah Hibatullah Akhundzada, right? It's not a man named Abdul, but of course, everything Donald Trump said tonight was a lie. And by the way, if you are online still on YouTube watching this, go on social media as well at the same time. See what Republicans are saying. Conservative influencers, even the Russian paid ones, are losing their minds. They are claiming that Trump did not lose this debate. It was the ABC News moderators who screwed him over. I would say to you all that if you watch that debate, here's some of the good things. Let's run through the good and the bad of tonight's debate. The good. ABC News moderators did some fact-checking. That was impressive. David Muir stepped in to fact-check Trump when he said he won the election, to point out that he lost over 60 court cases. Lindsey Davis stepped in to point out to Donald Trump that no, Democrats nowhere in America are executing newborn babies. There was some obvious fact-checking, which CNN did not do in June, by the way. So that was number one, something good about this debate. Number two, Kamala Harris brought receipts. She cited Trump on racism. She cited Trump on the Central Park Five. She cited Trump on wanting to terminate the Constitution. She said, rightly, 81 million Americans fired him in 2020. She came prepared, which is not a bad thing. I know there's some misogyny that women over-prepared. She did a good job of preparing. That was number two, something I liked. Number three, what did I like? I liked that Donald Trump took the bait. I enjoyed that. I said before this debate, I wrote a piece for Zeteo. And I hope you're all subscribers to Zeteo. Head over to Zeteo.com when this is done. Zeteo.com. It's over my shoulder. Subscribe so you can watch our content, watch our highly produced content when we're not having YouTube gremlins affect us, interrupt us. Join us to see the stuff we produce. I wrote a piece saying she needs to bait him. I did a video saying she needs to bait him. And she did. She baited him. She came along. She mocked the size of his crowds. Oh, you can't mock Donald Trump's crowds. He lost it. This was in a section on where he was supposed to be talking about he just jumped. He just lost it. And he came in, and what did he do? He said, immigrants are eating cats. They're eating dogs. They're eating your pets. That's what they say on television. David Muir, the ABC News moderator, stepped in and fact-checked him and said, no, they're not. The town has said that's not true. Trump's reliance was, well, I heard it on television. It's 2024. It's September 2024. And the man running for the most important job in the world said on live television, they're eating your cats and dogs. That is what has happened to America right now. That is what has happened to the Republican Party. That is what has happened to our political discourse. And I just find it absolutely absurd that people are still going to vote in their tens of millions for Donald Trump. Maybe some of you watching this. And I would say, think about what happened tonight. Think about what was said from start to finish. So, Alison Donnelly, thank you. I'm just looking at the comments here. Let's talk about what I didn't like. What did I not like? What I not like is that, number one, it took 45 minutes for the moderators to get to the coup, to the insurrection. I think that should have been the top of the debate. When one of the two candidates on stage tried to overturn the United States government, you should probably open with that. It took 45 minutes to get there, and they talked about it for, I think, 6 minutes. That, for me, is normalizing what Trump did. The centerpiece of the debate needs to be that one of the two candidates does not believe in the Constitution, does not believe in democracy, does not believe in a peaceful transfer of power. That, for me, was a letdown. Number two, Gaza. There is a genocide, in my view, and in the view of many lawyers and human rights activists, going on in Gaza right now. The United States is complicit in that genocide. Kamala Harris is complicit in that genocide. Donald Trump wants to amplify and extend that genocide. And yet tonight we got, again, came to it very late in the day, all through the prism of Israel. Do you hate Israel? Do you love Israel? Do you support Israel? Do you not support Israel? Very little discussion of the people dying. No mention of an American citizen who was killed in the occupied West Bank by Israel. Yet another American citizen that we've covered extensively here at Zeteo. There was no question from a moderator saying, which of you two would do something to protect American citizens from the Israeli military? That didn't come up in a patriotic debate. It's interesting that the moderators were very tough and very well briefed on a lot of topics. But when we get to Israel, American journalists just can't do their jobs. Just can't focus, just can't ask the tough questions. So for me, number one, disappointment on democracy and insurrection. We got there very late, very short. Number two, Gaza. We did not have any kind of substantive discussion about Gaza. Canned talking points from Harris on a two-state solution, canned talking points from Trump. And yeah, neither of them are going to improve the situation in Gaza. Will Harris be a bit better than Trump? I hope so. Trump is a nutcase. And we know that, he actually came out and defended Netanyahu tonight. By the way, he also defended Orban. When he was asked about which world leaders like him, he brought up Orban, an autocrat, as proof that he's a good guy. So these are some of the things that let me down. Climate change, very late in the day, very brief. I think climate change should be a much bigger topic. These are existential issues, the future of our democracy, the future of our planet. And I think these are the kind of things we need to talk about. I'm just going to take a quick look at the chat and see what is happening here. Let's have a look. Oh, somebody says, I would love for you to moderate debate. I would love to moderate debate. I'd ask a lot of tough questions. I think, no climate change discussion. Yes, it was very limited. If you remember in the first debate, Trump said, what did he say? When he was asked about Trump, he said, we have H2O. I swear to God, go look it up verbatim. He said, we have H2O. We have water. That was his response to a question about his environmental policy. Somebody sends love from Kashmir. If only Kashmir got a look at a presidential debate. We barely get any foreign policy at a presidential debate. We got a little bit of Ukraine tonight, a little bit of Gaza, not much else. And even on Ukraine, did you notice that Donald Trump couldn't bring himself to say he wants Ukraine to win? Can you imagine a Republican 5, 10, 15 years ago being so pro-Russian, so pro-Putin? It's amazing what he's done to the party and what he gets away with. There were some amazing moments. By the way, did you all notice how Trump looked? If we're going to talk about how Joe Biden looked in June, I mean, the bronze tan, the bronzer, a little bit too far, looked tired, looked old. We got to ask questions about his age. He's the oldest man to run for president of the United States. The last time we had a debate in this country, it was all about Joe Biden's age and mental health. Why do we grade Donald Trump on a curve? Will tomorrow morning's headlines reflect the fact that he's old, decrepit, he's out of it, he doesn't remember stuff, and he makes stuff up en masse? He said, we sent ventilators to the rest of the world. We did a phenomenal job on COVID. 500,000 Americans died on his watch, many of whom shouldn't have died on his watch. People were using trash bags as their gowns. He claimed we had many gowns, right? People were dying in their droves. New York had mobile morgues, bodies piling up. What on earth is he talking about? And it really does bother me with just memory hold, how bad he was on COVID, how bad he was on some of these issues. Will the debate shift the polls? That is the big question. We had a New York Times Siena poll that came out on Sunday, which scared Democrats a lot. It seemed to show that Harris's momentum had dried up. The big question is, will she now pick up momentum after this? Already Democrats tonight online are bragging about how much money they've fundraised in the last couple of hours. They're saying record amounts. We will see what the Insta polls and the focus groups say. I suspect they will say that Trump lost that debate pretty badly. But remember, guys, Hillary Clinton, according to the focus groups, polls, and pundits, won every single one of her 3 debates with Donald Trump, and yet still lost in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and lost that election, even though she won the popular vote. Harris's team apparently are saying tonight they want another debate. They're calling for another debate. Somebody in the comments says, Jill Stein, peace candidate. Jill Stein was not on the stage tonight. I would have liked to see her on the Gaza section because the 2 candidates were super, super disappointing on the Gaza section. I do think also that Harris did a good job on bringing up his convictions and his liability for sexual abuse. Again, will that move the dial on the polling? Right now, The polling from Sunday, the New York Times Siena College poll, which has been criticized by some, is showing that she's lost a bit of her momentum. Will she pick it up again? Remember, Democrats don't have to just win. They have to win clearly by like 1-2 percentage points because of the electoral college bias towards the Republicans, something we don't talk about at debates. We don't really have a fully functioning democracy in this country where the people's will prevails. We have an electoral college which is biased towards the Republicans and overrepresents certain parts of the country at the expense of others. So these are all big questions that are going to be asked in the coming days. I was hoping to discuss it with our panel. You're getting it from me direct in the middle of the night here on the East Coast. I don't know where you are. I know some people in the UK were staying up late to watch this debate. Faisal Hussein says they did not ask, will he accept the election result? Faisal, I'm kind of glad they didn't ask that question because we know he's not going to accept the election result. So why waste time asking that question? You noticed tonight, David Muir, the moderator, brought up the fact that recently Trump has been saying, well, I lost by a whisker. And when he asked about it, he said, no, I didn't lose. I was just being sarcastic, which he wasn't. He's all over the place. We got love from the UK. So people are awake in the middle of the night in the UK. Get some sleep, folks. And somebody brings up in the comments, Taylor Swift, perhaps the biggest moment of tonight did not happen in Philadelphia at the ABC debate. It happened after the debate when Taylor Swift posted that she will be endorsing Kamala Harris and Tim Walz for president, which is something that Republicans have been slightly freaked out about for a while because the Swifties are a pretty powerful army. And some of them, I remember in the last election cycle in the 2016 and 20, people mocked the idea of Swifties. They're too young. They're just teenage girls. Well, guess what? They're old enough to vote now. So good luck, Donald Trump, having pissed off the Swifties. Oh, Sammy Hutton says, I'm a Finn and I'm still up. I don't even know what time it is in Finland. I assume it's even later than the UK. Sorry, I grew up in Europe and I don't know what time it is in Finland. Let's have a look at any more questions coming here. Somebody says JD got screwed. Yes, Donald Trump basically threw his running mate Vance under the bus. Furious Slap says, I'm voting Trump. I'd love to hear what tonight made Furious Slap want to vote for Trump. Great comment here. I missed the name though. They're going past fast. There's a lot of you here. He can't believe he brought up the Central 5 and defended it. So Central Park 5, some of you may remember, 5 people of color, young men whose lives were ruined when they were falsely accused of sexually assaulting a jogger in Central Park. They were completely exonerated by DNA evidence and by the fact that they found the real person who did it. Trump put a full-page ad in the New York Times. He spent money, stingiest man in the world, spent money on a full-page ad calling for the execution of the Central Park 5. Guess what? Not only are they innocent, not only has he never apologized to them, tonight on stage, he doubled down, suggesting they were guilty, and even said they killed someone. This is a man in cognitive decline. Nobody died as a result of the Central Park 5 or as a result of that crime. It was a crime of rape and assault. In Trump's head, it was a murder. The guy is all over the place. He confuses West Virginia and Virginia. He can't remember details of a crime that he put ads in the papers for. The man is 78 years old. He's the oldest man to ever run for president of the United States. We need to start talking about his mental health. We need to start talking about his cognition. We need to start talking about the fact that he's unfit for office. I'm voting green, says Olive Oil for the first time. Good name. A lot of people are, I know some, not a lot, but a significant number of people are voting for Greens in some of the swing states because they're upset about Gaza. So Fen says nothing on Palestine. Yeah, there was nothing offered on Palestine to save lives in Palestine. Somebody says, Mehdi, you're a better fact checker than the mainstream media. I love fact checking. Fact checking matters. Does it make a difference? I don't know, but we need to call out for facts. Look, credit to David Muir and Lindsay Davis, the moderators. I feel like the American media is slowly getting the message that some of us critics are making, that you need to be tougher, you need to be more aggressive, you need to call out facts for facts and untruths for untruths. And some of that happened tonight. I'm glad they did that, but it wasn't as strong as it could have been. Somebody says, these are flying by. Hello from Brazil, and I missed it. Well, hello from Brazil, I missed the question. Who will the Arab Americans vote for? That is a great question. In places like Michigan, Gaza could cost Kamala Harris the election. That's why many of us have said, please, Vice President Harris, break from Joe Biden, just like Hubert Humphrey did in 1968. He broke from LBJ on Vietnam, got a surge in the polls, but he did it too late, and he narrowly lost to Richard Nixon, and American history was changed. Please don't make the mistakes of Hubert Humphrey. Kamala Harris needs to come out much earlier. We're already in September, and make a distinction between her policy and Joe Biden's policy on Gaza. Biden came out today and he said that the American citizen killed in the West Bank, that she was killed by a ricochet, by a bullet ricocheting off the floor and hitting her. Even the Israelis don't say that. Biden's offering a defense of Israel that even Israel is not offering. It's embarrassing to watch. An American president can't stand up for a killed American citizen. Why not mention Jill Stein, says Yvette Arriaga. I've interviewed Jill Stein. Wait soon. If you're a subscriber to Zeteo, zeteo.com, subscribe now. You're going to get an email very soon with the full 1 hour, I think almost an hour we did. I interviewed Jill Stein and Butch Ware. It'll be coming out soon. We asked questions about Gaza. I challenged her on our past about Russia and Syria. There's a lot there. So please do stay tuned for the Jill Stein Butchware interview. But you got to be a Zeteo subscriber. Sorry. Got to do that after this chat. All right. I'm running low on gas. Let's have a look at any more questions. Please explain how third-party voting will put orange clown in emojis into power. Well, the argument, of course, is that if you vote in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania for the third-party candidate and you don't vote against Trump, that benefits Trump. And look, don't take my word for it. Donald Trump has said, I like Jill Stein because her votes come from the Democrats. Those are his words. Don't shoot the messenger. Steve Bannon says the same thing. Republicans are trying to get Jill Stein and Cornel West is a good friend of mine, onto the ballots in swing states because they know that'll hurt the Democrats. So I'm not saying vote green, don't vote green. I'm just saying if you do vote green in swing states, you have to understand the natural consequences of that. But look, I understand why people are turning to the Greens because the Democrats refuse to switch course on Gaza. They can switch course on Gaza. Somebody's asking about the Riz episode. Good. I'm happy to plug Zeteo. We've got a podcast. We're not kidding. Me and Riz Ahmed, my old schoolmate, the Oscar-winning, Emmy Award-winning actor, that's coming out on Thursday. So again, subscribe to Zeteo. You'll get it in your feed or wherever you get your podcasts. Pizza King says, God bless Israel. Thanks for that contribution as Israel continues to kill kids en masse. And who else we got? Oh, well, Lisette Nunez hits back with Viva Palestine Libra. All right. So let us have a quick summing up thoughts because I've been working since all day and you've been watching a long debate. So let me give you my final take on this. Debates matter. Anyone who tells you debates don't matter, that no longer exists anymore. In June, a sitting president was forced to step aside from the campaign because he performed so badly in a debate. If there was any justice in this world, Donald Trump would be forced to step aside tomorrow because he did so badly in the debate tonight, from the lies about abortion to the crazy conspiracies about eating cats and dogs, to the inability to answer a simple question about what his healthcare plan is. He would be forced to step aside. The Republicans know he's not fit for office. Most Americans know he's not fit for office, but we don't live in a perfect or just world. We live in America in 2024. He will carry on going. And the question is, when will reality interrupt? Let's see. I'll be fascinated to see if the polls turn on this debate. As I say, the Harris team want more debates. If I'm Donald Trump, I'm not doing any more debates. The Electoral College is my friend. I can still win without any more debates. The country's polarized. It actually helps him to shut his mouth. So if I was his team, I would say, please don't do any more debates, Mr. President. We'll have to see if there are any more debates. If there are more debates, we'll be doing Substack chats. We'll be doing YouTube lives, which will work next time, I assure you. We will give all of our coverage. John Harwood, veteran columnist, will be sending out his take on the debate via email to Zeteo subscribers tomorrow morning. We'll be recording Mehdi Unfiltered in Washington, D.C. with some great guests tomorrow at our studio. We'll be sending that out later tomorrow evening with more reaction to the debate. As I say, we've got We're Not Kidding on Thursday with Riz Ahmed. But for now, I'm debated out. And I love debating. So if I'm debated out, you all must be too. I'm going to end this stream. Thank you all for watching. Sorry for the technical issues today. Don't blame me, or you can blame me if you want. But technical issues were done. We had a lot of fun watching the debate, a lot of fun doing the live chat on Substack, a lot of fun chatting to you all. Thank you for joining in the comments. Thank you for your patience. Appreciate your support for Zeteo. We are independent media. We are trying to be bold and unafraid at a time when too many journalists are cowardly and afraid. Too many journalists are pulling their punches. We don't here at Zeteo. Come support us, zeteo.com, zeteo.com. Come subscribe, get more of our content. Otherwise, have a good night. And I assure you, no one's coming to eat your pets.